Manever I say ma PENDREAM TV. PENDREAM TV there, I see them yopo.
Been gracious enough to welcome us. I'll give you some clues. He's a physician by profession. He's a medical doctor. He's very outspoken. He's been in sports for a long time. When you think Accra Hearts of Oak, he's one of the names you will think of. And football, generally, in Ghana. Well, he's also a founding member of the MPP. I think that's the icing on the cake. I'm talking about none other than Dr. Nyaho Nyaho. He's been gracious enough to welcome us into his abode this Thursday morning. Doc, thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
For joining us.
It's a pleasure.
Thank you. It has been a while. I guess it's only fitting to start off with how you have been. I was teasing you when we got in that the older you get, the younger you look. What's your secret?
That reminds me of what President of the U.S. said recently. He was asked a similar question. His answer was straightforward, and I think I will answer the same way too. Day in and day out, I get more handsome.
I see.
So it all depends on how I look after myself.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it the God factor? People have said that if you love God and if you reflect it in your daily life, it also impacts you. It shows spiritually. What is
spiritually? Well, I would not sort of deny that could be a factor, an important factor. But at the same time, as you as an individual looks after yourself, what you do to your physical body itself is very important. So that's the way I look at it.
And speaking of spirituality, I didn't mean to go here, but since it's come up, some people have asked, and I see your great-grandfather. Great-great-grandfather in there. What do you adhere to? Are you a traditionalist? Are you Christian? Are you Muslim? What are you?
Well, I'm a Christian.
Okay.
At the same time, I believe strongly in the roots I come from.
Right.
Strongly.
Right.
The old man you see there, that's the grandfather of my grandfather.
Right.
So it goes back quite long in history. I don't have to say much about him because a lot has been said about him, not just in this country, but outside the borders of this country. And I believe strongly in this tradition, the way he was a traditionalist. However, he was the same person who brought Roman Catholic Church to the Keta districts, all the way from Togo.
Interesting. He was Roman Catholic.
Exactly.
He was a traditionalist. He was a traditionalist. He brought the Catholic Church into the.
When he heard of the Roman Catholic Church being established somewhere in Togo in those days, he sent his own carriers. In those days, there were no vehicles. And they went and brought the people down to Keta. He gave them a land, which is there today, you can see. They built a school. They built a church, which is there till today.
Right.
And then they built a cemetery, which we call a churchyard, attached to this, to the church. And one interesting thing is that the wives wanted to find out what he would like to have in return. He said, I don't need anything, but make sure all my children go to this school free.
Oh, wow. What a wise choice. And they granted him that.
And that's how most of people got educated very early.
And of course, the spin-off effect, because
absolutely.
Then generations down the line,
absolutely.
You also benefited from that system.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, we celebrate him as well, your great-grandfather, and the wonderful great-great-grandfather, and the wonderful things he did in his life. Sometimes it's almost going back that far, great-great-grandfather, pardon me. But speaking of which, again, I just want to briefly, because we're talking about spirituality and all that, the National Cathedral, on the 6th of March, that was when? This year. We said we would have commissioned it and all of that. And it's still there, a big pit, nothing to show. And some of Ghana's taxpayers' money has been put in there, contrary to the promise that was given Ghanaians. How do you feel about that project?
If you will remember, the last interview I had with you, we spoke about that. And I said, it's unfortunate that state resources have been wasted on this. It's a waste. Nothing else. It's a waste.
It's a waste.
It's a waste.
If it's completed, it can still serve a touristic purpose.
When a government is in power, and that's the problem we face as Africans. Let's be very frank. And we fail to see our priorities. It shows clearly that we don't know where we are heading to. I mean, this is a nation in debt. This is a nation where the ordinary person take-home pay is less than $1. And you talk about National Cathedral. I mean, I can't understand it. Even to use it either as a policy or even your manifesto, or even as a private project, as the president told us from the word go.
But what if God had in fact told him to do this?
Exactly.
No, but what if God had in fact told him to do this, like he says?
We are all Christians. Unfortunately, we have around our political leaders religious people. And I believe strongly in practical religion.
Practical religion?
Yes.
Right. What exactly is that?
I mean, you do exactly what you preach. It's as simple as that.
Practice what
That's practical religion. And I must honestly stand up for Sheikh Sharabutu.
The national chief.
I am telling you, I have tremendous respect for that man. He's a pragmatist. You follow me? There are a lot of issues that have confronted this country, but for that man, there would have been disaster in this country. No one should joke about that. No one, no sane politician should take that as a joke. You promise people that you are going to build a cathedral. That's how the news came out initially. To honor God on certain promises that you have made to him.
Right.
Then it turned out to be a different story. By the time we realize state money is being pumped into it, look at the amount of money that has been pumped into that one. That can build a very complex 2 hospitals for anywhere in the country.
And now we're being told the cost has ballooned hugely, not even the $400+ million we were looking at, but a lot more, multiples of that now, if we're going to complete it.
And you know what is even more ridiculous is that throughout history, at least what I have read, I have not come across a cathedral that has been built within even 10 years.
Right.
So what's the point? What exactly are we trying to, or the president wants to tell us? I don't understand it.
Interesting dynamics in there, because of course the Notre Dame and others have been built over the centuries, and even when it was gutted with fire, it took quite a while before it could be brought back to its current state. But I'm also interested in something. I see these wonderful lights here and all of that. I need to ask, do you have a generator or a plant or something?
I have a generator.
You have a generator?
I have a generator. Okay, because I was off the main distance. I just came back this morning.
Your lights went off?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so
yesterday even
thank God our host has a generator. I had to ask that question because of the current state of affairs. Yeah. What would you call this power outage? Because the term Dumsor has been used and it's been pushed back heavily, fiercely by government, by even the ECG boss. What would you call what we're experiencing?
Look, I times get so sad when I look at certain issues facing this country. Dishonesty is one thing that's destroying this country. Leaders not being honest with the people they are leading. This so-called Dumsor didn't start today. As far back at the time of Jerry John Rawlings.
Indeed.
He started showing his ugly face.
Well, we're subsidizing electricity and later took it off.
Absolutely.
Right.
It got worse when Kufuor came to power, when I was an ambassador in Serbia. I had a call because the messages went around so that areas that probably heavy machinery can be used to generate power. So I was called and I was briefed about that. It was that serious. You follow me? Then came Atamils. Atamils managed somehow. Then came John Mahama. And I think he tackled the fundamentals. That's the real problem facing the country.
And things came to a head for about 3 years.
Yes.
We had this power
Problem.
situation.
You follow me? Then we took over. I'm talking about NPP. With the promises that we gave all along, everybody expected us to carry on very well. I don't want to go into so-called, agreement signed with companies. I don't have interest in that. But at least it is the duty of government to make sure that the citizenry are given power to work with.
Are they failing in that duty?
Of course, yes. Look at what is happening in the country now.
But they keep pushing back and saying it is not because we lack the finances. It's not because we lack the capacity. There are some challenges. ECG will tell you we're doing maintenance here and there. Others will tell you, oh, the IPPs, there are some disagreements, but we are working things out. ECG has to give them some money. I listened to the ECG boss recently, Mr. Apetogbo, the representative for the IPPs, was saying one thing. The ECG boss was also on another trajectory. At some point, they converged. But the point being that no one wants to take blame for where we are.
Just before you came, I was watching TV3. And there's this lady who I respect a lot.
Right.
That's Madam Jantua.
Right.
Look.
Of the CPP.
Of the CPP.
Right.
Her analysis was perfect. This morning, just about 15 minutes ago.
Right.
And I'll go by what she said.
Which was what?
Because she has been there before. He said we don't have money to buy fuel, gas, and other things. Full stop. No, that's why I keep on saying that if a leader is not honest with his people, he falls into this sort of traps. This government has not been honest. This government has not been honest with his people right from the word go.
But if you say that, you are then saying that, and correct me if I'm wrong, that Mr. President, the first gentleman of the Republic, is dishonest. Is that what you're saying?
It's not being honest with the people of this country.
From day one?
From day one. Even right when he was being sworn in. You know it. You are a journalist.
Oh, are you referring to his speech?
Of course, yes. That should have alarmed us. Even though I've warned Ghanaians the days before that they shouldn't vote him in.
I remember that video.
Yes.
I remember.
That should have alarmed
But these are mistakes that do happen. I mean, his speech was written for him. These are mistakes that do happen. How can you fault him for that?
What do you mean by they are mistakes that do happen?
I mean, once in a while,
a head of state, a Ghanaian head of state. Even if a speech has been written for him, he should go through the speech.
But even the presidents of Harvard and others have been cited for some plagiarism here and there and other places. So many of them. You've seen them. I mean,
the president of Harvard, we are talking about. In fact, I think it's a lady, really. It's a lady.
Well, it's a lady. Gay is no longer another person.
Yeah, but it's another. But the lady you are talking about, if I read things clearly, she came out. Has our government done that? You see, these are the things. You see, when you have a system that right from the word go cannot operate well, you see it. At least I can see it. Right. And that is exactly what is happening now. We are completely saddled with corruption. Corruption has totally swallowed this country. Rule of law is completely absent. ethnocentrism.
The rule of law is absent. Akufo-Addo, one of the things he's always touting is the rule of law. It is absent.
Don't confuse general rule of law,
right,
with parties' own protection. Parties' own protection is just like what Akufo did. We have the so-called militia. And remember what happened recently at that constituency, just behind me here. Look, to set up a militia, history has shown clearly that with time they will swallow you. Adolf Hitler did it. How did he end? Mussolini did it. How did he end? This man in Spain, General Franco, did it. How did he end? I mean, at least if you don't know it, let history teach you. You understand me?
You will be victimized. What do you make of free SHS?
I think I remember before Nana Addo became president, I think he had an interview with Al Jazeera, if I'm right.
I remember that interview.
And he spoke pretty well. And he made mention of this free HSS. Not just Al Jazeera, with BBC too, with BBC as well. And I think on the BBC program, the host pushed him to a corner. That how do you find this? Because huge amounts of money will be involved. The man kept on pushing repeatedly. And Addo, as I know, was able to maneuver out of him. Now, free SHS has been in our constitution for years. In fact, it's one of the policies of the old man, Kwame Nkrumah himself.
Right.
But it is supposed to be done progressively. Right. It's there in black and white. Why didn't we go by that method? Of course, it's a huge political, agenda. That was used to gain votes, and we did get the votes from that, for that. But has it really served the people of this country, or it has worsened their situation? That's a question that we should ask ourselves.
What do you think?
I think it's a question that it has worsened their situation based on what your own findings are now.
But how about the other angle? People who ordinarily, maybe because of money constraints, monetary constraints, would not have been in school, are now getting to go to school, are now getting to actualize their dreams. Who knows what they could become? How about that side?
Have you been able, in your research recently, come out with few names that have been able to benefit from it?
But you can look
if
at
you
the
have
general,
not, then
you can look at the general enrollment, which has shot up by
no, general enrollment really
doesn't.
No. If you go by those figures, figures are. I don't take figures seriously in this country. I don't, because it's nothing than a bunch of lies.
You don't believe the figures?
I don't believe in figures in this.
In free SHS.
No.
But at least look at the fact that the schools are even struggling to contain them. That tells you
but
that the numbers
you came out with a beautiful point that children cannot even be fed in schools. So what's the benefit? Don't tell me the benefit.
So
when I was in secondary school, I was fed 3 times a day.
Right.
And even this University of Ghana you see there.
Yes.
Until quite recently, students were fed. There were even people standing behind them to attend them. That's why you have the halls there.
Right.
You follow me?
Right.
Now, our time has been different from what it is today. You follow me? So you don't come out with promises you cannot really implement. And that is the problem with it. Both political parties, all politicians are behaving the same way in this country. You come out with promises. Look at even what we came out with. Dams promises, factories and whatnot. Where are they now? Where are they?
That's a good point. But just dwelling briefly on that point. So from where you sit then, would you say a review is in order for free SHS, or we should scrap it?
No, I won't say we should scrap it. I've told you earlier on that it's been in our constitution. It's still there.
Right.
But it should be done progressively.
Okay.
And if we adopt that method, I think we shall get somewhere.
So we rushed headlong into it, and
Exactly. Exactly. That's what the point is.
You've also reminded me of something that is before the president, the LGBTQI+ bill. Parliament has gone ahead with it. It's now sitting before Mr. President. Initially, he said it hadn't reached his desk, but I'm sure you've heard of the other issues and even the finance ministry's input, where they say now, Abnao Sayasari, saying that it wasn't meant for public consumption. It was meant for the ministry and other communication, and it came out. What do you make of it? Traditionally, you have a firm stance, but you're also Christian and all of that. People say, we have our rights. Why should you interfere? What do you make of it?
Once again, I think I'll go back to the chief imam. His analysis on that particular issue, to me, must be accepted by everyone. Life, what we call production, can happen between a male and a female.
Right.
Nothing else. If you stop that, then the whole human race will be extinct. And if that is the way we want to go, then they can go. I don't care about it, honestly. Oh, I don't care about it. I want this to the problems I already have.
But there are countries that have legitimized.
No, those countries are
not. The countries are not empty, are
no,
they?
Look, it's unfortunate Nkrumah is no more. Because if Nkrumah were to be alive, I don't think they'll push such a program here. And we have countries in the Arab world. Have they been able to push this down their throats? America at times really surprises me. They talk of democracy and they do the other thing. You follow me? The ambassador here should have left this country long ago.
Virginia Palmer.
I'm telling you,
Why?
She's interfering in the internal affairs of our country.
But as ambassador, she's meant. You've served as an ambassador.
Oh, yes, I did. Yes.
I mean, you know what it means. You reflect your country's thinking in that country to a certain extent.
To a certain extent, but the Vienna Convention tells you you have a limit.
Has she crossed that limit?
Yeah, of course she has.
How?
No, don't ask me how. You know it. Look at the comments she made, even the threats.
Right.
Even the threats. This is a sovereign nation. If we choose to hang ourselves as a nation tomorrow, that is no business of hers. Why should you impose? I won't say it's the U.S. policy, that I have not heard yet, but other interest groups in America, all over the world, on a nation like Ghana, so and even to the extent of threatening us.
It's basically lobbying. I don't know about imposition, but you would look at American policy globally, and I agree with you, in the Gulf states and in the Middle East.
Absolutely.
They don't go down
Absolutely.
that trajectory. But she's also pointed to the fact that, look, you could incur losses by way of trade. It may be difficult to get some businesses
that is not a business
here. And our own finance ministry has said that we may not get some of the money we're expecting from the Bretton Woods institutions on the back of this. The World Bank threatened Uganda. I mean,
no, but even what came out of the finance ministry, the statement is so irresponsible, highly irresponsible, that a whole Ministry of Finance should come out with a statement that has just been made by a representative of a government in this country. I mean, it's pathetic. Are we really free? That's the question. And this, I kept on saying, are the points that should be raised seriously by journalists in this country.
So tell me, you ask, are we really free? Are you saying that our freedom as a people is on the line here in this situation?
It is. It is on the line. I mean, we've seen several instances. How can the U.S. come and set up a base here? I mean, how? Look at the clauses involved.
We can also go back to the Guantanamo.
Absolutely, just like Guantanamo.
2 or 3.
Exactly.
Who were in the country in the erstwhile administration.
Exactly.
Right.
I mean, that tells you straight that this country has ceased to be an independent country. I mean, it's as simple as, you see, what worries me is that these are issues when we were young people just like you, myself, Kwesi Pratt, what do you call him, Nana Addo, Charles Broby, and these are the issues we have been trying to discuss and have them properly put in order. Should we get the chance of running this country? Now we have had the opportunity and look at the mess we are creating. I can't believe it. I simply cannot believe that this will happen under the leadership of Nana Addo. I can't believe it.
But do you believe, so when the e-levy was in the picture, there was a challenge in court, but he went ahead to send his signature to the e-levy. But in this instance, even before we knew, because on the 4th, he was speaking to the diplomatic community and said they shouldn't worry and all of that, and someone had challenged the constitutionality of it in court. Actually, we only got that document dated the 5th day, as per the court's data. But somehow the president looked in a crystal ball and knew. Are you expecting him to sign this? And if he doesn't, what would be, maybe, let me use the word consequences?
No, but it has come out clearly. I think what I saw with my own eyes on 2 occasions, where he showed clearly that he is not in support with this particular practice. You follow me?
Right.
I remember where even members of the church and then even the leadership of the church clapped for him. I think it happened in Akropon area. You follow me?
I think it was the Anglican church.
As the Anglican church, church, where we were all relieved. Now, after that, when Parliament has now completely finished with the subject, and it's for him to append his signature, look at the statements that have been following. What is the point in getting the diplomatic call on this particular issue and addressing them and reassuring them? So you see, when I say we are not independent, I'm really hitting that on the right nail. This is not an independent country. We are not. We are not a country that people can just walk in. Look at how the Chinese come in here. The Chinese, they do anything they want to do with this country. Look at the state of our rivers. Recently, I learned somewhere, I think in the central region, where they can't even handle the water, the pollution now.
Right.
You follow me? I mean, these are things happening. We see them with our eyes. But we have leaders who are doing nothing about them.
Recently, we heard the story of a Chinese national who escaped from prison, and apparently
the
footage shows that he was assisted
by
prison's officers.
Yeah.
Maybe they may not have been in the know that he wanted to escape with his purported partner, but all of that is in there. Just a quick one, very briefly. Speaking of the finance ministry, I think at a point you wanted Ken Ofori-Atta out.
Oh, yes.
He is out now. He's going to be special advisor, special investment, all of that. Dr. Amin is finance minister. Happy now?
I'm not happy. Amin's first statement threw him out of the stage.
Dr. Amin's first statement.
It tells you he himself is not his own person.
So who is?
He's not his own person. Look,
pulling the strings.
What hurt me most about Ofori-Atta, I don't care whether he's a finance or whatever he is. But when we had a situation when about 80 plus members of parliament of my party decided that Ofori-Atta should go, then that was a serious move. I remember I spoke with their leader, Pierre Kube. I called him. I looked for his number, I called him and spoke with him. I said, look, that is a bold stand, but be careful you are not talked about it by the president. And what happened?
Right.
I mean, that Pierre Kube is there. I really don't know him. I've spoken with you on the phone. What happened? Exactly what I said what happened was what happened. Avoid just maneuvered, and that was the end of it. And we are still holding that position. Furata is holding that position. But I have said in an interview earlier on that if Furata is still there and Akufo-Addo can't move him out, then he is sitting on something that in future we shall all get to know, and we shall know.
I see. So, taking into context all of this, I asked you the first time I interviewed you, I'll ask you again, with everything you know. Akufo-Addo is in the twilight of his term. On a score of 1 to 10, or on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you score him?
I won't go with marks today. I would like to just enlist 1 or 2 points to you. If my memory could serve me right, in 1992, when we elected a party leader at the Great Hall, University of Ghana, Eduwahin, when we had giants in the party, B.J. Darocha was the national chairman. I mean, people like Kwame P.N.M., you follow me, Kwame Safuedu, may they rest in peace. What do you call it? Odwe Size, Peter Lajite. I mean, these are giants. When you talk of politics in our tradition, and these are people who are disciplined. Look, we had the election without any problem. No monetization, no influence, nothing. Edu won. You follow me? And so they did follow with the subsequent one. What has happened recently? Our party has ceased to be a democratic party, and I will say that with emphasis.
Why?
Oh. Paul Afoko. You know about Paul Afoko?
Right.
You know about Kwabena Ajibom?
I know.
You know about
There's
Samir Kra?
suspension and everything.
The moment they were moved out of position, I knew that Akufo-Addo cannot handle this country. And it has followed. You know what happened after that? It put fear into our people. The party, but party members
did not single-handedly do that. The party did it.
It wasn't done by the party. What are you talking about?
But it's the party machinery.
No. The party machinery coming out of a communique doesn't mean. But who was the party? These were the leaders of the party. And you have completely moved them out of the scene. So who's the party?
There.
You say what?
Reasons were cited.
What reasons? The reasons were false. They were false. They can come and challenge me. You follow me? Because after that, then anyone with an eye of a true politician will tell you that we are getting into trouble. Then fear got into our people. I'm talking about party members. People started towing the line. Some because of what they want to eat. Some because they are afraid. And you follow me? And that continued till today. That even after we have gone through all these difficult times, we have not been able to solve our biggest problem, corruption. You follow me?
Right.
So, which we promise the people of this country that we shall put a stop to it. It's been now the worst in the history of this country.
In terms of corruption.
Of course.
So Akufo-Addo has failed in the fight against corruption. Is that what
he's failed totally?
Right. Let me quickly run this by you. So the running mate, I mean, we have the flag bearer, Dr. Bawumia. He's now looking for a running mate. What do you make of that situation?
He has an uphill task.
An uphill task?
Absolutely. Because Bawumia, I know Bawumia well. You follow me? Myself and later Aliu Mahama handled Bawumia in the second running of the second term, attempt of Akufo-Addo. Akufo-Addo got me involved directly. He called me and talked to me about Bawumia. Bawumia is there. He's not dead. Now, Bawumia is now in a tight corner. Tight corner because he is not Number one, himself.
Right.
Secondly, he has been put in a position that is not the wish of the majority of the party members. I mean, these are clear signs. But for the backing of Akufo-Addo with money, Bawumia couldn't have won that position.
But you don't know that for a fact. Can you say that?
I know that for a fact. Look, I've been in politics for years.
Where's your evidence?
You see, this sort of what's your evidence is what I dislike most.
Yeah, but I mean, you can't make these claims without
you can't make this claim.
Something.
Politics, you have to think ahead. You follow me?
Right.
Now, Bawumia, I can tell. I know he's a nice gentleman. But I would say he's in the wrong terrain.
Do you think he can beat John Mahama and Nana Jane?
Look, when his own party, that is my party, which I'm supposed to have been suspended from, has internal issues now. And they have serious internal issues, I know. For instance, he has no other option than to look at the Ashanti region.
Right.
No other option. I'm telling you this. But even that, will he be in position to decide that this is the person I want to go with? That's point number one. Point number two, the Ashanti region now is going to be divided into various sections. Alain Chiremante is going to have half of it. And I'm coming. MPP is going to hold half of it. And even within the MPP, there are divisions there. And of course, then DC has a slice there as well.
Right.
So you ask yourself, how strong shall we be? A region that has been our stronghold, are we going to be strong there? And also think about the mess we've created during these 8 years. People are no fools. People are no fools at all. They are going to. People are going to vote.
The MPP is going to lose the 2024 elections.
Look, any other results that will come will be what we term the stolen verdict, and it will bring problems to this country. You have no idea. Once again, I'm predicting.
And you've turned out to be a prophet once.
I'm not a prophet. I just study situations and come out with solutions.
You've prophesied.
I'm not a prophet.
I'd like to let us look at this very quickly. The 13th African Games is going on, and we've had issues from the lights going off at the Cape Coast Stadium during the Ghana-Ethiopia match to people not getting the right boot sizes to people not having equipment to poor performances. So many things. The local organizing committee, the sports ministry, they are in a mess, a jumble. Put that side by side with the fact that we've spent over $200 million, about $240 million on this enterprise. What's your take?
I would say first and foremost, we have to account for that particular amount of money you just mentioned. $240 million US. That's a huge amount of money. That can do a lot to uplift the suffering, a lot to help the suffering masses of this country. At least basic things, hospitals, drinking water, clean drinking water. We were given that responsibility 3 years ago. We couldn't. We asked for an extension, which we were given. I'm talking about the same program you are talking about.
Because it's actually 2023.
Absolutely. And even that, look at our performance. It tells you one thing. As I told a friend of mine some few days ago, tells you that this nation is marching backwards. That's what it tells me.
As you give me your final words, I also want to incorporate into it. What do you think about former President Mahama's 24-hour economy? Do you feel he can make that comeback? He's spoken in recent times saying that if the fundamentals are weak, the reality of the lives of Ghanaians will expose you. Does he even have a right to be telling us this?
No, as a person, I think he has a right. However, I'm not an economist. How the 24-hour economy will work, if I say I have an idea about it, I'm telling lies.
Right.
I'm not an economist. And I don't want to go into that.
Okay. Final words?
Final words, as I told you the other day, the survival of this country depends on the journalists. I keep on telling you all the time, and you see that I will be proven right. Because journalism itself now has been polluted. The journalists we knew years ago, when I was, it was even far from my sin. People like Cameron Dodo who speak their mind. We don't have them now. Journalists.
You feel journalists have been compromised?
Oh, are you asking me? You know it yourself.
I don't know. That's why
I have known journalists in this country for years, I'm telling you, so I know what I'm talking about. You follow me? I don't want to mention names.
Please don't.
Journalists I knew who were so tough and strong years past. Where are they now? They've all been compromised. With money, dirty money. If the money is clean money, I wouldn't mind. It's dirty money. Which those who stole it will have to account for it one day. And they will account for it. You will see.
Doc, we're grateful that you took the time. I think this time we'll have a fist bump.
It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure.
Dr. Nyaho Nyaho Tamaklo, he's a physician. He's a founding member of the MPP. He's been sharing his thoughts, and he's a man who follows sports, known for his affinity for Accra Hearts of Oak. This has been our interaction right from his home this beautiful Thursday morning on AM Exclusive. My name is Benjamin Akakpo. Thank you for watching.
PENDREAM TV. Now, so far so good. Say open online portal e Ghana. Nipa share, nipa follow, nipa comment here. To my best of knowledge, without any biases, PENDREAM TV.